Today we'll be talking about the chapter named The Party in Marjane Satrapi's Persepolis. First, some important information pertinent to this chapter to remember as context. In this chapter, the Shah finally steps down due to the pressure that stems from the increasingly violent demonstrations protesting his regime. Black Friday is the name given to the incident that happened on the 8th of September 1978 because of the shootings in Jaleh Square in Tehran, Iran. Between 84 to 88 people were killed in this incident and 205 were injured. The Shah claims to understand the people's revolt and tries to edge towards democracy, but the people did not have it. They wanted him gone, and with time, the Shah actually steps down. There is also news that the Shah attempted to take refuge in America, but the then President Jimmy Carter denied him entry. Egyptian President Anwar al-Sadat allows him into Egypt. Marjane believes that the Shah and Egyptian President are friends in this chapter, but her father explains to her that politics and sentiments do not mix, a theme of unsure decisions and thoughts that occur throughout this book.
At this point, Marjane's awareness of her political surroundings increases as she recounts the story of the Shah's downfall and thus the momentous celebration that came as an after effect as well. This prompts the transition to the new government, which is the Islamic regime. The party is referring to an indication of celebration over the end of the Shah's ruling. The idea of celebration also alludes to unity and the collective excitement that the general population feels. The first panel opens with a page that displays the massive amount of the Shah's victims of Black Friday being stacked in rows and columns, drawing attention to just the severity of the issue. The scene-to-scene transition leads us to the next panel, containing a line of dead people pushing the Shah out of the way, symbolizing how his actions have led to his downfall. As the country celebrates, Marjane's parents enjoy temporary peace that her father points out that peace will never actually last for as long as there's oil in the Middle East. The turning point is prominently visible as Marjane's teacher asks the students to tear out all the photos of the Shah from your books, effectively signifying the end of the Shah's authoritarian power of the Iranian people. In school, Marjane and her schoolmates show how they treat students of the Slavic members, which is tied in with Marjane's mother's lessons of forgiveness, something which Marjane found that she struggled greatly with throughout the book, especially voiced with her determination that she had the feeling of being someone really, really good. Here we also see the motive that appears throughout the book, Margie and the mirror. This recurring act of perceiving a reflection depicts Margie, who is the protagonist's proactive quest for identification and her process of fragmentation.
As the people around her start to adapt to different views, Marjane realizes the hypocrisy and contradiction of these people. She sees how normal citizens will model their behavior to the desires of whoever is in power as a way to protect themselves and rise in society. This knowledge will aid her as she progresses through the story and lies to authorities to save herself in her own oppressive society.
The party shows the turning point of the revolution and hints towards a new future for Iran. The Shah left Iran for exile on the 16th of January 1979 as the last Persian monarch, leaving his duties to a regency council and Shapur Bakhtiar, who was an opposition-based prime minister. However, the Shah tries his best to stall his expulsion while testing out possible people to serve as prime ministers and declaring them unfit for the role. The exclamation that Shah was not allowed entry in certain places demonstrates the little power he has left, empowering those who supported the revolution as the people who wanted only one thing, his departure. The people are seen chanting in capital letters and in large font that aren't in a speech bubble in unison to show their strong sentiments amongst the strong graphic weight of the people versus the lack of background description that places the focus upon the event occurring, conveying heavy significance. Although the Shah was abdicated and left Iran, the British was not very pleased with this predicament, as it did not act in their national interest. Some would argue that this was the pinnacle point of the rise of the Islamic regime.
This chapter is introduced with the lack of speech bubbles. only a caption, and it creates a stark image of silence when it comes to death, framed by the open eyes of the corpses that signify the brutality of the Black Friday incident. A moment-to-moment transition goes to the dead people pushing the Shah away, symbolizing the emphasis of the Shah's abundant crimes against the people of Iran, which is the reason that he will be forced to leave. Ironically, the bottom panels present the Shah trying to regain support from the people that he lost. As a result, we also see on the third page, there's also a huge splash that shows the celebration scene. The day he left, the country had the biggest celebration in history. Every character's face is immensely joyful, showing just how much the people despise the Shah. This splash page is used to draw attention towards the people's feelings towards the Shah, evident from the large size of the panel to represent the major celebration and the joy that was felt throughout Iran and its citizens. In this chapter, we can definitely observe the themes of Bildungsroman, in which one of the most pivotal moments of shaping Marjane's life is described, as well as Orwellian themes of espionage and surveillance that build the importance of destroying a false image of the Shah. Again, this chapter describes this important moment in history, yet provides an insight towards a first-hand experience to the thoughts of someone whose life was structured around the events of his childhood. The significance of this chapter lies in the fact that this chapter and the moments that come in it are the literal points of change that will affect the rest of Marjane's life.